Well, California, for all intents and purposes, I think it's safe to say it's kind of become a one-party state. Now, the question is that healthy? I mean, in your opinion, don't nations and states have to have maybe a broader mix of ideas from various points on the political spectrum to do the best? I mean, what's your take on the political landscape in California at this time?
Well, I'm a little concerned because we have such a blue state, two-thirds majority in both houses of the legislature, all 8 constitutional officers are Democrats, and yet we're not moving the needle on some of the most important issues facing us. And if you can't use your majority to do good, what good is it? You know, I mean, in the end, we really do have to have a conversation about what we're going to do for housing, what we're going to do for healthcare, what we're going to do for the environment, and how we're going to protect our kids and give them a great education. And right now, there's tepid small things happening in Sacramento. So there is something to be said for not having a robust enough debate between and among the leaders of the state. And, I never thought it would be this way. I thought if we had a two-thirds majority, we would really be moving ahead in progressive ways. But, we're not. And we're dead last in a number of categories, 41st in per pupil spending, but number 1 in per prisoner. Those are not my values, and they're not the values of any Californians I talk to. So we have to make sure that having a majority means something. And we really have to make sure that people stand up and get counted on behalf of the people of the state. A lot of intelligent people in the legislature and in the leadership roles, but what we're lacking, it seems to me, is courage, vision, and heart. A lot of people don't have the courage to take on some of the big issues. They don't have the vision to look down the road and see how disastrous it is to have not built colleges and to have run the cost up so high, and the heart to really do what's right. Having the most homeless people of any state in the union. Now, some people will say, well, you're the biggest state. Yeah, but we only have 12% of the population. We have over 20% of the homeless. So something's broken in California, and there needs to be not just Democrats, but progressive Democrats who stand for something.
But is there a value to also considering some of the perspectives from the right and people that are pushing back against some of the established protocols we've seen here in California over the past couple of decades, being a very, very blue state?
There is a value in having a robust conversation. I like to remind people that it was, 100 years ago, it was the Republican Party that was fighting for women's rights, and it was the Republican Party that took on segregation. And so having a really robust conversation between and among people. But I'm not saying that we ought to have everybody have a gun and everybody, we ought to, be racking up the incarcerations. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying instead yes, the conversation is a good one, but it has to be balanced and it has to be progressive and it has to be not just about let's lock them up and throw away the key. We're charging 16-year-olds as adults when we know their brains aren't fully developed, their emotions are not in check. Many of them are in unstable, dysfunctional families. We need to build scaffolding to help the kids that are getting into trouble, rather than just say, we're going to throw out the noose and string them up, because that's not who we should be and not what we should be doing. And the best crime prevention program in the end is actually called education. And the best economic development program is called education. So we have a lot of work to do in California, and we need to make sure that we do it progressively, not just, lumber along getting by.